Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political ethicist who employed non-violent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule. He inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. Born and raised in a Hindu family in coastal Gujarat, Gandhi trained in the law at the Inner Temple, London, and was called to the bar at age 22 in June 1891. After 2 uncertain years in India, where he was unable to start a successful law practice, he moved to South Africa in 1893 to represent an Indian merchant in a lawsuit. He went on to live in South Africa for 21 years. It was here that Gandhi raised a family and first employed nonviolent resistance in a campaign for civil rights. In 1915, aged 45, he returned to India and soon set about organizing peasants, farmers, and urban laborers to protest against excessive land tax and discrimination. Assuming leadership of the Indian National Congress in 1921, Gandhi led nationwide campaigns for easing poverty, expanding women's rights, building religious and ethnic amity, ending untouchability, and, above all, achieving Swaraj or self-rule. Gandhi adopted the short dhoti woven with hand-spun yarn as a mark of identification with India's rural poor. He began to live in a self-sufficient residential community, to eat simple food and undertake long fasts as a means of both introspection and political protest. Bringing anti-colonial nationalism to the common Indians, Gandhi led them in challenging the British-imposed salt tax with the 400 kilometers Dandi Salt March in 1930 and in calling for the British to quit India in 1942. He was imprisoned many times and for many years in both South Africa and India. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869 into a Gujarati Hindu Modh Baniya family in Porbandar, also known as Sudamapuri, a coastal town on the Kathiawar Peninsula and then part of the small princely state of Porbandar in the Kathiawar Agency of the British Raj. His father, Karamchand Uttamchand Gandhi, served as the Dewan of Porbandar state. His family originated from the then village of Kutiana in what was then Junagadh state. Although he only had been a clerk in the state administration and had an elementary education, Karamchand proved a capable chief minister. During his tenure, he married 4 times. His first 2 wives died young, after each had given birth to a daughter, and his 3rd marriage was childless. In 1857, he sought his 3rd wife's permission to remarry. That year, he married Putlibai, who also came from Junagadh and was from a Pranami Vaishnava family. Karamchand and Putlibai had 3 children over the ensuing decade, a son, Laxmidas, a daughter, Raliat Bain, and another son, Karsan Das. On 2nd October 1869, Putlibai gave birth to her last child, Mohandas, in a dark, windowless ground-floor room of the Gandhi family residence in Porbandar city. As a child, Gandhi was described by his sister Raliat as restless as Mercury, either playing or roaming about. One of his favorite pastimes was twisting dog's ears. The Indian classics, especially the stories of Shravana and King Harishchandra, had a great impact on Gandhi in his childhood. In his autobiography, he states that they left an indelible impression on his mind. He writes, "It haunted me, and I must have acted Harishchandra to myself times without number." Gandhi's early self-identification with truth and love as supreme values is traceable to these epic characters. The family's religious background was eclectic. Gandhi's father, Karamchand, was Hindu, and his mother, Putlibai, was from a Pranami Vaishnava Hindu family. Gandhi's father was of Modh Baniya caste in the Varna of Vaishya. His mother came from the medieval Krishna Bhakti-based Pranami tradition, whose religious texts include the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavata Purana, and a collection of 14 texts with teachings that the tradition believes to include the essence of the Vedas, the Quran, and the Bible. Gandhi was deeply influenced by his mother, an extremely pious lady who would not think of taking her meals without her daily prayers. She would take the hardest vows and keep them without flinching. To keep 2 or 3 consecutive fasts was nothing to her. In 1874, Gandhi's father, Karamchand, left Porbandar for the smaller state of Rajkot, where he became a counselor to its ruler, the Thakur Sahib. Though Rajkot was a less prestigious state than Porbandar, the British regional political agency was located there, which gave the state's Diwan a measure of security. In 1876, Karamchand became Diwan of Rajkot and was succeeded as Diwan of Porbandar by his brother Tulsidas. His family then rejoined him in Rajkot. At age 9, Gandhi entered the local school in Rajkot, near his home. There, he studied the rudiments of arithmetic, history, the Gujarati language, and geography. At the age of 11, he joined the high school in Rajkot, Alfred High School. He was an average student, won some prizes, but was a shy and tongue-tied student, with no interest in games. His only companions were books and school lessons. In May 1883, the 13-year-old Mohandas was married to 14-year-old Kasturbai Mukherjee Kapadia. Her first name was usually shortened to Kasturba and affectionately to Ba in an arranged marriage, according to the custom of the region at that time. In the process, he lost a year at school, but was later allowed to make up by accelerating his studies. His wedding was a joint event where his brother and cousin were also married. Recalling the day of their marriage, he once said, "As we didn't know much about marriage, for us it meant only wearing new clothes, eating sweets, and playing with relatives." As was the prevailing tradition, the adolescent bride was to spend much time at her parents' house and away from her husband. In late 1885, Gandhi's father, Karamchand, died. Gandhi, then 16 years old, and his wife of age 17 had their first baby, who survived only a few days. The two deaths anguished Gandhi. The Gandhi couple had 4 more children, all sons: Harilal, born in 1888, Manalal, born in 1892, Ramdas, born in 1897, and Devdas, born in 1900. In November 1887, the 18-year-old Gandhi graduated from high school in Ahmedabad. In January 1888, he enrolled at Samaldas College in Bhavnagar State, then the sole degree-granting institution of higher education in the region. However, he dropped out and returned to his family in Porbandar. Gandhi's vision of an independent India based on religious pluralism was challenged in the early 1940s by a Muslim nationalism which demanded a separate homeland for Muslims within British India. In August 1947, Britain granted independence, but the British Indian Empire was partitioned into 2 dominions, a Hindu-majority India and a Muslim-majority Pakistan. As many displaced Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs made their way to their new lands, religious violence broke out, especially in the Punjab and Bengal. Abstaining from the official celebration of independence, Gandhi visited the affected areas, attempting to alleviate distress. In the months following, he undertook several hunger strikes to stop the religious violence. The last of these was begun in Delhi on 12th of January 1948, when he was 78. The belief that Gandhi had been too resolute in his defense of both Pakistan and Indian Muslims spread among some Hindus in India. Among these was Nathuram Godse, a militant Hindu nationalist from Pune, Western India, who assassinated Gandhi by firing 3 bullets into his chest at an interfaith prayer meeting in Delhi on 30th January 1948. Gandhi's birthday, so 2nd October, is commemorated in India as Gandhi Jayanti, a national holiday, and worldwide as the International Day of Nonviolence. Gandhi is considered to be the father of the nation in post-colonial India.